Welcome to part 4 of building the USS Rio Grande. Today we're going to talk about painting the ship. Now, finding the right color is something that I, like a lot of people, have struggled with. I want it to be a light gray color, not white, but the problem is a lot of grays lean tan or they lean blue. I want something that was very just neutral gray. So what I actually do is I mix up Tamiya white and Tamiya silver, about 2/3 white, 1/3 silver. Mix that together, and that's the color paint that you see here. Kind of a pearl gray color, not leaning towards either color. Now that actually makes a little bit gritty of a paint. The silver ends up a little bit gritty. It's very matte. So you need a very good gloss coat over it if you kind of do a base coat like this. But then I take that same white silver base, spread it out into a couple bottles. I do just a drop or two of sky blue to make a wonderful blue gray, and I'll add a couple drops of a real dark gray to make a darker base. So a lot of the colors you see here are going to be kind of based upon that recipe. The only other out-of-bottle colors I'm using, obviously I'm doing clear red, clear blue for the nacelles. I'm doing gold for some of the accents straight out of the bottle. And the other color I'm going to be using is deck tan. So the first thing you see masked off here are those deck tan colors for it. Here we have that deck tan applied to the ship. And we're going to move on to some of those other colors. So the first color up is going to be a gray blue color that gets put in a lot of these crevices and valleys throughout the ship. So it's mostly white, a little bit of silver, and just a drop or two of sky blue to give it a real nice light color. After that, I did some bare silver that once we put a dark wash on it will really kind of bring it out and add a little bit of bare machinery color to it. After that, the runabout is just filled with different shades of gray. So this is where I take that mix. I've got a few drops of dark gray in it, and we start making some of those panels. And they're just subtly different. Since it's mostly the same mix, just a couple drops of a different color, you can see it just barely has a different accent to it. And this really is a fun part of building the model, masking off all of these panels, adding those subtle accents. It's part of what really gives the runabout its character. It's not like a lot of the other Starfleet ships that are very pristine. It has a lot of mismatched panels. It looks like a lot of things have been switched out. Looks like different things have been done at different times. So it's fun to just build up those different colors, those different accents throughout the ship. And you can see here, I'm just using various just slightly different shades, just lightly airbrushed sometimes, darkly airbrushed sometimes. And since they're all based upon the same recipe, they all match and fit together very, very well. You can see on the pylons a little bit of that pure deck tan has been added on those squares. A little bit of actual yellow on those RCS thrusters. Now, I want you to look at here is you can see the grid lines pretty darn well. You really don't need to do a wash. And honestly, this is probably a little more in scale as far as grid lines go than what I eventually end up doing. I do use a wash on this, and I think it works. I like the way it turned out. But looking at it here, this probably is, if I'm being honest, a little bit more in scale and a little bit more accurate. Here's where we start with the wash. And of course, when you first do the wash, it is messy, and this looks messy. It'll get cleaned up in the next couple of pictures. Kind of using a pin wash, an oil-based wash in there, really gets in those grid lines, adds a lot of accents. And you see as we go along, we just kind of keep cleaning it, just using a little bit of thinner on a paper towel to wipe it clean, wipe off the extra smears, leave it just in those crevices. So as we go along, you'll see that we'll just start getting cleaner and cleaner. And that's a bit more how I like it, just kind of lightly accenting those panel lines, but it helps define some of those extra squares that you've done in different colors. I probably should have done a little bit more of a gray panel wash, but you can see these in these last couple shots, it's looking a little bit more in scale. I'm glad I did the wash. I do kind of like how it turned out, even it might not be in scale. But there's tons of detail in this kit, and I love doing the wash to kind of bring all of those details out. We'd love to hear from you guys, what you think of the paint job, what you think of the colors, what you're planning to do on your builds. So please comment down below, and please like and subscribe to help us grow our channel and kind of get a good community of model builders here from allscaletrek.com. We'll be wrapping up the build soon, so keep checking for videos. Thank you very much.